When you look at Elon Musk's companies, they can seem kind of all over the place, right? You've got electric cars, rockets, social media, AI. But what if I told you they're all part of one single, massive, unified plan? A plan that's really driven by one fundamental question. Okay, let's dive in and unpack the core philosophy behind his blueprint for the future of humanity.
Everything, and I mean everything, starts right here. For Musk, this isn't just some late-night philosophical question. It's the foundational quest that shapes his entire worldview. Most of us might wonder about this from time to time, but he has literally structured his life and all of his businesses around trying to find a real, functional answer.
So what's his conclusion? Well, it's inspired by The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and it's both brilliant and a little maddening. You might know the story. A giant supercomputer calculates the answer to life, the universe, and everything, and the answer is just 42. But nobody actually knew what the original question was. And for Musk, that's the key. The universe is the answer. Our job is to get smart enough to figure out what the heck the question is in the first place.
Okay, so how do we get smart enough to ask those big questions? Well, that is Musk's core mission. The idea is that by expanding consciousness, by making humanity smarter, more connected, and way more capable, we give ourselves a fighting chance of actually understanding the universe we're in. This one single idea is the engine that drives everything he builds.
He has this really powerful way of explaining it. Think about this. A single biological cell is pretty simple, right? But when you get 30 trillion of them working together, you get a human being, something totally different they can think and talk and create. He sees humanity the same way. A single person, even a genius, can't build a spaceship. No way. But a huge collection of humans, all connected and working together, they can do things that are just flat out impossible for any one individual.
So step one in the grand plan is to connect all of us, to create a kind of digital collective mind. Let's take a look at how this is playing out, especially when you look at his vision for social media.
When it comes to social media, Musk sees two totally different paths we can go down. On one side, you have what he calls dopamine-generating video streams, which, in his words, can lead to a little bit of brain rot. They're built to give you these quick, easy hits. His goal for X is the complete opposite. He wants to build a global town square, a place that actually connects thinkers and writers to form a, you guessed it, collective consciousness.
And this isn't just some vague concept, He's building very specific tools to make it happen. Sure, secure messaging and calls are part of it, but the bigger picture is way more ambitious. Think about automatic translation. It's designed to tear down language barriers, directly wiring together different parts of the human collective. And his long-term goal of a financial clearinghouse, that's about unifying the world's money system, at least from an information perspective.
All right, so that's the digital layer, connecting our minds. But what about the physical world? This is where his other companies come into the picture. And it's where they all start to converge on that exact same mission, just from a totally different angle.
He sees his big companies as holding three essential pieces of one giant puzzle. You've got Tesla, which is so much more than a car company, right? It's the world leader in real-world AI with self-driving and a monster in solar energy. Then there's SpaceX, which gives him total mastery over rockets and satellite networks. And finally, X.AI, which is purely focused on cooking up the advanced AI logic to glue it all together.
And what happens when you put all those pieces together? You get an endgame that sounds like it was ripped straight out of a science fiction movie. A future filled with solar-powered AI satellites deep in space. But why? Well, he believes that to truly expand our consciousness, we need to capture a serious amount of the sun's energy, and this is how you do it. It's the ultimate mashup of Tesla's energy and AI, SpaceX's rockets, and X.AI's intelligence.
Now, a tech explosion on that kind of scale isn't just about cool satellites. Musk predicts it's going to fundamentally change the very fabric of our society, starting with our entire concept of work.
And get this. This is his crazy prediction. He's not talking about some far-off, distant future. He believes that in less than 20 years, maybe even as soon as 10 or 15, the huge leaps in AI and robotics will make work, as we know it, totally optional.
So let's just trace that out. Right now, for most of us, work is a necessity. You have to do it to survive. But soon, he says, it'll become a choice, something you do because you find it interesting, like a hobby. And after that, that's when we hit what people call the singularity, a point where technological change is so fast and so deep that we literally can't predict what comes next.
And this is the world he pictures on the other side of that horizon. He doesn't talk about universal basic income, he talks about universal high income. A future of true abundance, where AI and robotics can create any product or service you could possibly want. The only limit is no longer resources. It's our own imagination. If you can think it, you can have it.
Okay, so with this gigantic, almost sci-fi vision of where we're headed, what's his advice for the entrepreneurs and the builders out there today? Well, it's actually surprisingly simple and really down to earth.
First things first. He says to forget about abstract goals like just making money. Money is a byproduct. The real goal, the thing you should obsess over, is creating things that are genuinely useful to other people.
This one builds right on top of that. It's a pretty simple gut check you can do for yourself. Are you adding more value to the world than you're taking out of it? Are you, fundamentally, a net positive for the human collective?
And this is his final mantra. It really just boils the whole philosophy down into one simple phrase. It's the ultimate goal for anyone who wants to build something meaningful. Create more value than you consume, both for yourself and for society.
In the end, Musk's blueprint isn't really just his own plan. It's a challenge to all of us. He's laid out this incredible vision for expanding our collective consciousness so we can finally start to understand the universe. So the final question isn't really about him, it's about you. Faced with this kind of future, what will you build?